Aloha, everyone. Can't get that out of my verbiage. You live there 10 years, it just doesn't leave your communication, I guess. It's just one of those things that will always be in there. It's like I went to Australia for 3 months, and it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I'll just say, good on you, mate, or something like that. Like it's always been there. Or cheers. Cheers is very commonly rolls out of my mouth. So welcome everybody. I have been blessed enough to be asked to lead tonight's session. And as we communicate, more and more people will join. Last week we had somewhere between 30 and 40. And I invite you now to reach out to anybody, especially those that have a lot of stress. They might have lots of imbalances going on with their emotional body. They may have a very good reason for their stress. It's not that we all don't, but sometimes we don't have the toolkit. It's like sometimes we know that our car needs a tune-up, but we don't know where to go to get it done. And one of the things that we'll be sharing with you this evening is how we have many astounding practices and very easy to apply practices that can help you to release any stress you may be holding and on your body and your vibration. And so I'll set the stage. I'm going to go rather slowly here because I want to allow more people to join. So I'll set the stage by talking about myself just a little bit. My name is Paul Fletcher, and one of the reasons I was asked to assist in leading this presentation this evening is because I, my wife, and my daughter, we were invited to move to the Portland, Oregon area. This is about 5 years ago, end of 2019. And one of the reasons we were asked to move there was because there was a new healing center being developed. This would have been the 11th healing center worldwide, founded by a beautiful individual who has dedicated his life to benefiting humanity, teaching them self-healing methods. His name is Dr. and Master Shah. He is a doctor. We'll learn a little bit more about him in a little while. But having worked with his wisdom and practices and personally finding them quite beneficial and very simple to understand and apply, I felt that it was something that I could utilize for myself and helping others. And 15 years of doing that, so roughly about 5 years ago, I was asked, because of having incorporated these practices in my life and teaching others for over 10 years, I was asked to assist in co-leading a center in the Portland area. It covered all of the Pacific Northwest. We didn't limit ourselves to just that city, but you have to have a physical location, right? And so the group was already there. It was founded. Dr. Rulin Shu, an extraordinary, beautiful soul, was to be the leader, and I was like a co-leader. And what the experience was just profound. And one of the reasons why it was so unique was because that was the beginning of COVID time. So we were literally looking for a physical location. And we were about ready to sign in the dotted line. And then, everybody put on masks, stay indoors, all of that stuff. So we had to switch gears and go to a fully online version. And everybody is just kind of second nature nowadays. But at that time, it wasn't. And so I got to learn a lot about, how people receive information, over the computer versus in person. Because when you're in person, there's a lot more connectivity. There's a lot more validation of what you might be going through. And online, it's a little bit different. You could have stress, which is hopefully why you're here. You could have stress from many facets of your life. You could have stress from financial concerns. That probably would apply to about 80% of us, especially in today's economic conditions. You may have stress because of a loved one going through some health issues. You may have stress because of your own health concerns. There are other factors, work factors. So the list goes on. We all have different ways it can affect us. And most of us have default toolkits, should we say, which might be grabbing a beer It might be smoking a joint. It might be grabbing a cigarette. It might be going for a walk. It might be yelling at the dog, the kid, and everyone else you can yell at. Well, we all have different ways to decompress. And it's not that those don't have a temporary effect, but if you're here, it's probably because you're looking for something that goes quite a bit deeper and has a much better effect for your long-term wellness. And that's why I'm here, because in my experience, having been an advocate of all things natural for my health and wellness, I was always looking for something that was easy to understand, easy to adopt into my life, and worked. And I have found what's referred to as the Tao technologies. I have found them to be very efficacious and beneficial in that respect. They were easy to understand, which you'll learn today. They were easy to apply and remember, so you can use them after today. If we never see you again, you'll be able to apply these in your daily life with great benefit and feel very good about the results. Our hope is that you stick around long enough, not only today, but consistently come back every week, every Wednesday, and bring a friend. Now, of course, these are recorded and you can access them at a later time if you need to, but it helps to have a consistency. And as I mentioned, prior to the COVID conditions, we had 11 healing centers literally in 7 different countries on 4 different continents. So this type and form of healing has a multi-decade history of being quite effective. But for some of you, especially those of you that are new to this, it may be very new to you. And because it's been for many, many decades, just in the Oregon, Washington, California zones, Pacific Northwest zones, up into the west coast of Washington as well, we have probably no less than several hundred people who started to receive this form of healing, some 20 years ago, some 10 years ago, some just 2 years ago, and it worked for them. And because it worked for them, they were excited about sharing it with others. And how that worked for many of them is they became what we refer to as a healer or a Tao healer. Just for those of you that might, when you're hearing the word Tao, your monkey mind might be getting involved about it being some sort of religion. It's not. And Tao is a placeholder word that basically stands for the word source, because this form of healing is an energy healing. It's a distance-based form of healing. And it works for everybody. It works for dogs, cats, you. Doesn't matter what your label is or what your belief system is. It works for everybody because the frequency and vibration that we share with you, this practice, it's from the source. And so Tao simply means source. And so many people receive this form of frequency and vibration, and it affected them quite well. For some people, it reduced their pain. For others, it reduced their stress. Many people used it to help resolve relationship concerns. Everybody has a different reason for searching outside of the box. And you might be here because you're searching outside of the box. Well, that didn't work, and that didn't work. Let's go try this. We see that quite a bit with this form of healing, because a lot of times people are searching for something because the other things didn't work. And they find that Tao healing tends to work a lot and very well in most cases. And if it's not working for you, there's typically 1 or 2 reasons why, and mostly it's because you just need to do a little bit more of it, all right? So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I want you to know that in the Pacific Northwest, there's about 200 Tao healers that are available to hold your hand and walk you through next layers and next steps, okay? We even have a website. The host will put it in the chat, and you're welcome to go there and learn more about some of the stuff that we do. It was recently updated, so it's missing a lot of our healers' names and stuff, but it's a good starting point, okay? We'll get around to it. So do take a moment and reach out to any loved ones, family, or friends that are suffering. And if they can't make it tonight, then share this recording with them, okay? So working with Dr. Ulin, having assisted to run that center for several years, was so beneficial. It taught me how to communicate slowly like this instead of communicating in a manner that you might not understand. It taught me to understand what your needs are versus what I thought they might be. And we're going to start right there. So, no one's asking you to open your mic and open your camera unless it's something you want to do. But one of the things that we do like to do is find people who have a measurable imbalance. I've been operating at a high level of stress, and it's runs between a 6 and a 10 on a 10 scale pretty much all day long. And today I'm like a 7. That's an example of a measurable imbalance. Okay. Another one might be, well, I don't really have much stress, but I got some pain. And the reason I bring these examples up is because Tao healing doesn't care what the label of your imbalance is. It pretty much works for all of those, and you'll learn why today. So do share, put it in the chat or open your mic and share, hey, Paul, my name is, and, I came here for this. And you can just, something simple. If you have stress, tell us your stress number, 10 being, I'm at my top, and, 5 being manageable but not happy with it, and so forth. So feel free to open your mic or put something in the chat. Okay. And thank you, Holly, for putting our website in the chat area. And if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to keep jabbering at you for a few more minutes. And we'll move into some of what we're going to be accomplishing today. All right. Guess you just love my voice so much you want me to keep talking. Okay, up to you. So, Tao healing is a source healing. I'm going to share with you a screen. I think I have that capability right now. And just to give you a little bit of background so that you have a little idea of what is this time of healing and how does it work. And so this is the website, drsha.com. As I mentioned, Dr. Shah has been bringing this form of healing to humanity for about 30 years. Raise your hand if you've heard of Reiki, right? Pretty much everybody on the planet's heard of Reiki. Well, this is kind of like that, except it's like Reiki on steroids. It tends to work quite a bit better, quite a bit faster, and it tends to, it doesn't require a lot of, 1 hour worth of effort, etc. I'm not making any promises, but it tends to work better and faster in general. So Dr. Master Shah is a doctor. He's trained in Western medicine, Eastern medicine, is a world-class acupuncturist. He's also received the highest awards possible for Tao calligraphy, which people in the West are like, so who really cares? But I'll explain the value in that in just a little bit. And he's found multiple ways to bring healing to humanity, which I'll go over as we go. So that's one of the pages. I'm going to flip to another page here. And this is one of the foundational teachings he brought to humanity roughly 25 years ago. Soul, Mind, Body Medicine was, I think, his 4th book, but it covered this. And it's called the 4-Power Technique, which has since been expanded to 6 powers. The first power is called soul power. And that's the foundation of how this healing works. And the basis is this. So imagine that you are this glass of water. No, there's no water in it, but imagine there is. And so imagine that's you, okay? We'll call that your soul. It's a glass of pure, clean water. Well, that's how you were when you came from the source, a glass of pure, clean water, a pure soul. And as you start having experiences that we label as negative and positive, it starts to discolor the water a little bit, okay? Call that stress. You might have an anger, it discolors the water. You might have the boss yell at you, it discolors the water. You might have your kid do something very stupid, it discolors the water. So the water gets discolored. What cleans it back up? Well, for most of us, it's our own efforts. We might go for a walk or a hike or have a drink or somehow cover it up, which is the root cause of depression and all those other things that there's a lot of labels for, because that's covering up stress. That's covering up things that we can't handle. It's covering up traumas. It's covering up life experiences. All of those are producers of stress. And so from this perspective, from this healing perspective, we don't look at that physical matter blockage. Okay, it's an emotional or physical level blockage. That's what Western medicine would look at. It would say, you have depression, you have anxiety. Let's give you this biochemical substance to change the biochemical matter of your cells and try to bring healing to you that way. And for some people it works, but for the vast majority it's a placebo. It's a cover-up effect. And then the traditional Eastern models, they would say something like, well, you're out of balance with your 5 elements, too much dampness, too much wind, and they would measure your pulses. And so what are they doing? They're adjusting your energy body, which then moves your physical matter. So some people go in there with pain, they poke a few needles in there, their pain goes away. They moved the energy, the chi flowed, and then the matter adjusted. So you're going to start to notice a hierarchy effect here. At the bottom of the hierarchy is the physical. That's where we feel our pain, our depression, our suffering, our stress. It affects every part of our life. We carry it home, we get upset with the wife. We carry it to work, we grind our teeth. We carry this wherever we go. And so the physical can rarely be resolved at the physical level. This has been proven by virtually anything you've tried out there. That's probably one of the reasons why you're here. And then above that is the energy body. So that's traditional Chinese medicine. They try to adjust the energy, which then adjusts the matter. And there's a level above that. Almost all of you have heard of it. It's called mind over matter. Raise your hand if you've heard of mind over matter, right? And so that is a level in which we're adjusting our consciousness, thinking positive affirmations, etc., etc. And then that then adjusts our energy, which then adjusts our physical matter. And it does work. It's been around for many years, and it's been proven as efficacious. Now, there are 2 layers above that is not acknowledged by 99% of humanity. All of the industries that are out there that are built for health, they do not acknowledge the next 2 layers with any level of validation. And Dr. and Master Sha, having dedicated his entire life to serve humanity, really wants to empower us to heal things at the highest level possible so that everything beneath it has to adjust. Because why does mind over matter work? Because mind moves the energy and energy moves the matter. That's why it works. But there's also many occasions when it didn't work. So why is that? Because there's 2 levels above it. And this is what we come back to. I was on this page, and you see this thing called soul power. This was released to humanity many, many years ago when saying the word soul was a bit taboo when it was compared to religious beliefs and dogmas. But in this case, what he's trying to teach us is that your soul, just like this glass, starts out pure. And it ends up pure. It never is not pure, but in between, where when we leave source and we come into this incarnation and experience things, the water can become tainted. They become tainted with traumas, experiences, stresses, life, basically, okay? And what are we saying? That your soul has these imbalances. So every time you have an unpleasant experience, it's like a vibration that comes into your field and it tarnishes your field. And so then you carry that tarnished field home, and then you yell at the wife or the husband. Or you get up in the morning and the wife or the husband and you have an argument, and you carry that tarnished field to the workplace, and then you maybe bring a pollution into the workplace. So what we want to do is empower you to stop that cycle so that you don't drag that debris around with you on your soul's vibrational field wherever you go in your life. And this is possible with Tao healing. Okay, I'm going to pause a minute and ask if anybody has any questions about what's been shared so far, and also check in with anybody if they want to share their level of stress. Plus I wanted to drink, so. Is there any questions from anybody here? Okay. So 4-power technique was released roughly 25 years ago, soul power. We'll come back to that. The second power is body power. What it basically says is where you place your hands or your hand posture, hand position can direct the energy flow of whatever area you're trying to affect. So moms put their hands on the bellies of the children when their bellies hurt, and energy flows there, and body power assists that child to feel better. Okay, it's an example of body power. Mind power is the 3rd power, and that's mind over matter, same thing. Another way to look at it is creative visualization, what you place your attention upon. If you place your attention upon light, upon your area of stress, it will most likely have a positive effect. So we're not inventing anything here. We're sharing with you how these have been put together in a way that will bring phenomenal value to you. The fourth power is called sound power. Almost everybody here knows that vibration runs through everything. You've seen the videos where they put sand on a drum, turn on the music, and the drum forms a specific geometric shape. Jordan Stone has his geometric shape in his name here. And so all of you have seen these geometric shapes, and sound and geometric shapes are the same. Most of you know, for example, that Matsuru Emoto, a Japanese gentleman, researched for 20 years. He figured out, over many years, he figured out how to freeze crystals and photograph them, water crystals. And what he did is he took a water glass, your clean soul, and he put love on the water glass, froze it, and then photographed the crystal, snowflake, if you will. Did the same thing. Hate. It's like putting hate on your soul. It's like saying hate all day, right? Or stress all day. And then what does it do to the water crystal? Well, what are you made out of? When you're born, you're 90% water. So go figure. So everything affects our soul. It affects our vibration. It affects the water in us. We need a repeatable way to reduce and release that stress on a consistent basis, and not just from 10 down to 8 and the next day start again, 10 down to 8. You need something that constantly brings you down to a 0, 1, or 2, and you sustain that over time. That's what Tao healing can do for you. So the 4-power technique to remember: soul power, body power, where you place your hands, mind power, and sound power. So when we do practices today, which we're going to move into not too far from now, you're going to discover that by putting those 4 together, that it enhances the value of each one. Individually, they affect us. We know that they would not have survived hundreds of years, but collectively, they create a lot more power. Master Sha brought 2 additional powers to the table, and they also connect to the 2 parts that were missing from the levels that humanity has learned to bring healing. So we know that mind over matter, we talked about that. We've talked about movement of qi, or life force energy, TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. We talked about the Western medicine model, but the 2 parts above that are the heart and the soul. So the heart is actually above the mind. What is the heart? The heart is the receiver. What's it receiving? It's receiving vibration and information. And that vibration and information is then received by the processor of this vessel. What's the processor in your body? That's the little nugget up here between your ears. Okay, and that processor is it's just a machine. Your Windows machine won't do anything until you turn it on. It'll just sit there until you turn it on, and also won't do anything until you push go. So it's just a machine that's programmed to do certain things. And some of the programming in this little nugget is good, and some of it's not so good. So the heart is the receiver of a message, and that message then goes to the brain, which is processing that message. That message is processed and it's sent down. If it's positive or negative, the brain doesn't care if it's positive or negative. It just does its job. It sends that positive or negative message to the energy of your body, which then affects the matter of your body. But there's a layer above the heart, and that is your original nature, your soul. You are a vibrational vehicle. You are a soul before you became this physical body. And when you leave, you will be a soul again that returns to the heart of the source. Now, that wisdom permeates all belief systems. There is no questioning of that basic consciousness. And that's why this has no religion associated with it. We are just teaching you common sense things. So if you can transform the tainted water, if you will, the discolorations that hang out in the vibration of your soul, then we can affect everything beneath it. We can affect the message the heart receives, which then affects the message the mind receives, which then affects the positive vibration of the energy in your body, which then affects your cellular matter, reducing the stress or the pain or whatever it might be. So this is the nature of Tao healing, okay? And that's the simplest way I've learned how to express it, and I hope you have a reasonable understanding of it at this point. So what we wanted to accomplish for you today is to give you an understanding of this wisdom and how exactly to apply it in your life. Now, one of the things that has occurred over the last 30 years is a metamorphosis of how this form of we call it Tao healing, but for you might just call it positive vibration or positive frequency, positive energy. Okay, because the nomenclature is kind of irrelevant. It works regardless, but in essence, that is what it is. It's a positive frequency and a positive vibration, and naturally, it will affect other vibrations around it. So we go back to the water glass. If this water glass has water in it and gets tainted and starts getting discolored, and I start pouring clean, clear water in the top, what happens to the dirty water in here? It starts pouring out the sides, right? And eventually what happens to the dirtiness of the water as I keep pouring in clean water? It becomes more and more clean, doesn't it? This is the nature of the soul. The more good, positive, healing frequency and vibration we can pour into our vessel, then we can positively affect every part of our life. And this is also why we have several hundred healers just in the Pacific West Coast alone. Around the world, about 10,000 or so. And you can, by the way, become one if it's something that trips your trigger. But it's not what we're talking about today. Just know that's available to you. But those who have received this have found adjustments. It maybe took them a week, a month, 2 months. And there's also been major illnesses reversed using this form of technology. So, there's plenty of additional data and information if you want to go get the nuts and bolts and nuggets. That's out there. No shortage of it. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump into a practice, okay, so you can feel some of it. So each of you, I want you to choose a level of measurement. I want you to choose a discomfort. It doesn't have to be stress. If you don't have any, you're blessed. Most of us have some. But if it's a 2 or a 3 and that's kind of the norm for you, that's awesome. If you have a discomfort, whatever is most uncomfortable for you, it could be an emotion. You could have came in with anger. You could have came in today with stress. You could have come in with both of those, but they're on a 2 scale, and you have a pain on an 8 scale. Okay, choose whatever is the most uncomfortable in your vibration: physical, emotional, mental, okay, and or stress. And you don't have to tell anybody here, but I want you to give yourself a number. I want you to say, okay, well, on a 10 scale, I'm about here. And we're going to come back and measure it after we do this first practice. Now, I have to set the stage for this practice so you know why we're going to do what we're going to do. We are going to do the 4-power technique. I'm going to walk you through what's called soul connection, and it's very simple. It basically acknowledges that you have a soul. It acknowledges that your source creator created you, and it acknowledges that that your soul and the source's soul can help. Okay, like you do this all the time with your belief system. You might say, "Dear God, come help me. Dear Jesus, come help me. Dear Buddha, come help me." It's the same thing. You're just talking to their souls. So that's what soul communication is, or the soul power. Okay, so we'll do that. I'll ask you where to put your hands for body power, how do you put your feet, and where you place your sitting up straight or not. All that affects the flow of the chi, the life force energy that we're trying to bring to you to help bring balance. I'll share with you where to place your mind, the mind power aspect, and I'll share with you the sound power. So you might hear a mantra, you might just hear music. Okay, but whatever is done in the way of sound power, the purpose is to maintain a higher frequency and vibration. Ultimately, we want to bring much more positive healing frequency into an environment that is not so positive and uplift it, just like pouring clear water into the not so clean water glass. And the more you do that, the faster you feel better and better. Okay, so Master Sha, in bringing these healing technologies to humanity, he wanted to find out, how do I deliver this in a way where I can reach the most people? And he realized that people square their head when they hear the word Tao. So he wanted to create something, and in his meditations, he clearly heard, make art. Put this healing frequency and vibration in art. Put it in music. Put the healing frequency and vibration in music. People love art. People love music, right? And also there was put it in water, put this healing vibration in water. See, when you've all heard of Reiki before, what happens? Somebody is over there on the other side of the phone, or maybe they're in the same room as you and their hands are floating over you. Maybe they're not touching you, maybe they are, but there's a transference of positive frequency and vibration. And so just like when Dr. Emoto put the label of love on that water and it was measured with a beautiful ice crystal, they put the label of hate and it was measured by an ugly ice crystal, just as everything can be impressed by a vibration, you and I can be impressed by things like art. And that art, when it's made, frequency and vibration can be put into it. Just like when I put lev on this water, the frequency and vibration of that word is literally into the water. And the water is a crystal, it holds it. You may have heard of dating you, but maybe you've heard of crystal movements in watches. Why? Because it holds a frequency. Crystal's been used for hundreds of years and is currently used in microchips for frequencies. You are a frequency machine. Your water, everything in you is frequency. Let's adjust that. So art like the one behind me, this is called calligraphy. I mentioned that Master Sha has won some awards. So when he does calligraphy, he simply, as a conduit through which a very high level of source frequency comes through, just like a water fountain, the frequency comes through and it goes into the art. And then the art becomes a medium, a holding place. If you put the word love on your water every day and left it overnight and you come back and drink it in the morning, it would hold that love water and you'd literally be pouring love into you. Think of the art like that. It pours love into you as you interact with it. Same thing for the music. When he creates music, he puts very specific frequency into it. And it's the same thing for all of the different what's called Tao technologies. Today we're going to work with the art and the music. Okay? So now that I've set the stage, let's go ahead and do a practice. The image you're going to see is an image called Da-I. It's two characters. The first character, the top one, is Da. That means greatest. The second character, which is the long, this has got like 4 or 5 strokes in it, is love. I, A-I, means love. Da-I, greatest love. So you can simply sit and receive with your eyes closed, or you can interact with this piece of art. Now, I'm going to briefly give you an example. We're going to come back to it later. Real briefly, for those of you that are familiar, you can interact with the art by simply touching your 5 fingers together, resting your elbow on your body, and twisting your wrist like this. Just follow the art's lines very gently. It's kind of like a meditative tracing. You're just very gently tracing the art, not really thinking of anything. And what's happening as you do that is the frequency and vibration that was embedded in it is coming to you. That sounds kind of strange, I get it, but that's okay. This stuff doesn't work for 30 years by accident, so just allow it, and then we'll measure what shift might occur for you afterwards. Again, get your measurement. Where's your imbalance? I see Anita says shoulders, level 8 to 9, stress and pain. Not fun, she says. So I'm going to walk you through now the 4-power technique. Okay, so let us all sit up for a moment. You're welcome to lie down if that's more comfortable for you, but we want the chi, we want the frequency and vibration to flow through our vessels and clear the negative stuff out. So it works a little bit better if you're able to bring your back away from the back of the chair. And then place one hand over your heart center and one palm where your knuckle rests in your belly button. Okay, and this is a kind of a connection. You can repeat after me, if comfortable. Dear my soul, and dear the soul of my beloved Creator. If you like saying God, you can say God. You like saying Allah, say Allah. No attachments, whatever is comfortable for you. If you resonate with Jesus or Buddha or Lakshmi or whomever, call those souls because they are serving you. They're here to help. So dear the soul of God, Source, Creator, my own soul, I love you. Always start with love. I love you. Could you please bless my practice to reduce my condition of, state your condition. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you. Okay? That's soul power. You're done. Next, is body power. Your hands are body power. Now, you do not have to put your hands where that pain is or that discomfort. Okay, if it's let's say the back of your neck, my arm's gonna get a little tired putting my hand back there, right? So I'm okay with leaving it right where it's at on my heart center. But if it's not a big deal to place your hand where you may have pain or discomfort, you can do that. If it's an emotional or mental imbalance, just keep it on your heart. That's a good place for it. Okay, that's body power. Mind power is seeing light in the area of request. So if it's a mental or emotional imbalance, just see your heart center becoming light, okay? If it's a specific body part, then place your attention there. So that's called mind power. And then we have sound power. Sound power, as shared, is mantra or chanting. I will provide the music today. All right? So now we move to the next step, which I will put the calligraphy back up and I will start the music momentarily. We connect with the healing vibration within this piece of art. I will do that. So dear, this beautiful piece of art, all of the healing frequency and vibration transmitted to it when it was created, the message of the greatest love within this piece of art. I am so grateful to you. As I calm myself and do this practice, maybe I sit here and meditate, maybe I trace. Please bless me to reduce my discomfort, suffering, stress. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us begin. I'm going to go ahead and trace, and you may choose your posture, your position. I'm going to start music. We're going to do this for about 8 minutes. Here we go. Relax and receive. See the light. Slow your breath down naturally and enjoy. Okay, gently return to your consciousness and start checking in with yourself. Measure any discomfort shifts. What was I before? Where am I at now? Maybe there's no shift. Maybe there's measurable shift in a desired direction. For some people, occasionally it actually ramps up. And then what happens is as they keep going through it, then it just goes way down. So go ahead and check in with yourself. You can post in the chat, or you're welcome to open the line and share. Would love to have some interaction. with anybody sharing on the line. Jennifer, you feel like opening and sharing?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me put my video on. Hold on here. Yeah, mine was I'm I'm an account manager and I also am a property manager, a grandma, and also in grad school. So my life is completely stressed out and getting over the flu. It was a 9. And honestly, even since posting, I put a 3, but it's actually down to a 1 now. I'm able to sit and do my schoolwork. I was just looking at it a minute ago and I wasn't stressed at all. And my stomach stopped hurting completely, which I carry stress in my stomach. So it was a major transformation for me.
Fabulous. Congratulations. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Heaven. And that's the thing, all of us, we are taught that we're not the conduit, the ones doing this. I just activated the music and a higher vibrational field called the Tao image. I see Jordan says very relaxed and peaceful. Kim said, I don't notice any change at this time. Terry says mental stress was a 4 on a 10 scale. And now it's about a 2. Beautiful. Okay, and that was roughly 7 or 8 minutes of listening to some nice music with the frequency associated with that calligraphy. Now, I was tracing for everybody, but some of you might not have been doing that at all. As I mentioned, there are many different modalities through which this healing can occur. And one of the more recent ones that has been transmitted to very specific practitioners is what's called a breathing technique. Now, I don't have that transmission. I'm not a breathing practitioner. But what that would look like, and you'll probably experience that in the future when you come back on a future Wednesday, is the exact same thing like this, except that practitioner has a specific authority. Like you've heard, for example, of Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, right? What's the difference? The level of frequency and vibration. And it's the same for certain practitioners. They can invoke certain levels of healing frequency, and one of them is called breath through Tao calligraphy. So you would sit just like this, but they would activate a higher frequency, and you would simply breathe. How hard is that? You sit there and breathe, and you would actually receive measurable shift. How do I know? Well, I don't, but having witnessed it for well over a year, and literally hundreds, if not 1,000 testimonials, it's safe to say it works for the majority of people. So that's another way in which this modality can serve you, literally breathing. So we tried to make it as simple as possible. Now we're going to do a practice. I'll read a few more notes here. Okay. Let's see, Leanne, Jean, said acute pain from a 6 to the 2 on a shoulder. Fabulous. Thank you, Heaven. And Eliel says stomach was about a 5, fatigue was about a 7 to 8. Stomach's now a 2, and fatigue is about a 2. Wow. And having done this 15 years, I'm not blown away by this. If I was new, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't really feel any difference myself. So new people, they're going to go through a process of belief and disbelief, and that's perfectly okay. We're not here to convince you. We're just sharing something that's worked for everybody else for 30 years. And what we do know is, just like with the glass of water, if you pour enough clean water in, guess what's going to happen to the tainted colored water, right? It's going to have to shift. So if you're not getting an immediate result, it just means you need a bit more high frequency on a consistent basis. That's all it means. So we're going to do more. Let's see, somebody else said something here. Marlis said, first of all, thank you for your healing, Paul. I just came in 15 minutes ago, coincidentally. It is almost 4 a.m. where she's at. And I woke up, cannot feel shifts, but she knows the energy is very strong. Thank you, Marlis. Good. Okay, and several no changes. Okay, so those that had no change, I would love if you'd be willing to receive a higher level frequency healing. And this is something that I and a few others will offer. It's called Tao Hands. It's another way to receive healing. Now there are no less than 5 ways you can get free healing all day long through some of these modalities, and they're all over Master Sha's website. They're all over. Just contact us. We can give you many different ways to self-heal. But sometimes it's nice to get healing from somebody else, and it's nice to have that pain go from this down to this, especially if it just takes 5 minutes. So, who would like to have something reduced measurably in the next 5 minutes? No promises, of course, but I'm pretty sure we'll have some measurable result. Go ahead and speak up and tell me what your discomfort is, and then we'll use guidance and see what we can do to serve you. I see some hands. I see Eddie and Marlis, Marlu. And again, if you don't know how to put your hand up, you can simply turn on your mic and speak. Eddie, go ahead and share first.
Hello, Master Paul. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was driving, so what we're gonna say, but I've been getting blurry vision
Okay.
lately, so
And what's the blurriness right now?
you know what? I guess probably maybe 6, maybe 5 out of 10.
Okay. Very good. And let's check in with Marlies. How can we serve you?
Hi, good evening, night, morning, dear Paul. Well, I have more things, but I have some tension in my belly and heart, and my neck
Can you give me
hurts.
some numbers?
Yeah, I just woke up, so it's not so bad. But sometimes it's a 5 or a 6, or my back can cramp, and then I can stand. And the tension is now, yeah, I think a 4 or 5, not real high, but I think that.
Okay, thank you. Marilu.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
I was quite stressed earlier. I was about an 8-ish. I've gone down to about a 6.
Okay.
Where I'm feeling it right now is my digestive system.
Okay.
It's kind of all of my digestive system, but definitely my stomach. It feels that I think it's definitely stress related. So it's about a 6 right now.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And let's check in with Kim. You have to unmute if you wish to share, Kim.
I've had this pain on my left arm.
Okay.
It's my upper left arm for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't gone away.
And what's the pain level right now?
I think it's the same, around 8, 9.
Oh, that's significant. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And let's check in with Leilani.
Sorry.
I'm going to check in with the next person. Leilani.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, hello everyone. I woke up this morning with my right side. It just feels like I need an adjustment or something. It's out of whack. And it goes from the right shoulder down the body and from the right shoulder up into the neck and the head. And it's about a 5. And it really got worse when we were doing the Da eye calligraphy. That's when it got worse rather than better. It sort of brought my attention to it more. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you for pointing that out, because sometimes that happens when we put the laser on something, it expands on the way of decompressing like a balloon might. So thank you for sharing that. Okay,
Thank you.
and let's check in with Omar.
Hello.
Hi.
I was experiencing, and I'm still experiencing some pain on my ear, in my right ear, and a little bit of discomfort on my stomach. But with the music, I think I just started putting my hand over my ear, and I hear a little bit better, but it's still like I can tell I have like water substance inside. So,
And level of discomfort for each area?
oh, I would say 6.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so all of those who had their hands up and shared, you're going to receive a group healing now. And what's going to happen is myself and others in the room here today, there's probably about at least 10 of us that have what's called Tao healing hands. As I mentioned earlier, it's kind of like a Reiki, but it tends to be a bit more effective on less time, okay? And given that there's multiple of us offering that, if you do not want to receive, then just tell heaven, I don't want to receive. That's okay. If you're ready to receive, then of course, open your heart to receive. So those who would like to offer Tao healing hands along with me, please repeat. And I see, Emmy, you have your hand up. Do you wish to add yourself to receive healing, Emmy?
Do I understand that everyone can...
Hello,
Oh,
good
sorry.
morning. Every morning I get pain from my head till my foot, and I can't explain what's the pain.
Okay. And does it move throughout your body, or is it the whole body?
No, my whole body. I feel from my crown chakra, from my neck, from until my hip, till my underfoot.
Okay. And what's
And
the average?
when I give myself the Tao hands blessing, then it a little better. But this pain I have the whole day.
Okay. Very good. And what's your discomfort level right now, Emmy?
No, it's an 8.
Okay. Very good. And there was
Thank
another
you.
person. Thank you, Emmy. There was another person talking. Would you like to share?
Yes, I was just asking if we have to turn on our Tao hands for the group blessing as appropriate.
Yes, I
Or...
will. I will guide everybody who wishes to offer that service.
Okay.
In just a moment. Thank you for asking.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so everybody can receive. That's okay. So if you haven't mentioned your name or something you want to receive because you're like hiding in the shadows, no judgments. We want you to receive as well. So I will pause when I get to that point and ask you to state, not to me, but to the source, to heaven, what you want. So let us connect. For those who wish to offer the Tao Healing Hands, please connect and repeat after me. Dear the soul of my Tao Healing Hands healer transmission, I am so grateful to have received you. Could you please activate now and offer a Tao Healing Hands blessings for all of those who will speak now for their requests. So everybody who wants to receive, tell heaven, please bring healing to this for me. And, tell them now. We're going to pause and wait. You don't have to open your mouth or open your mic. You tell heaven. Okay, good. And please offer, those doing Tao hands, please continue. Please offer this Tao hands healing for everybody's request as appropriate. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Tao hands blessings for everyone's request that is watching live as appropriate. Start. I'm setting the clock for 5 minutes. I'm going to put on music again and simply enjoy and receive see light in your area of request. 5 minutes. Hao means complete. Good. So that was 5 full minutes of Dao hands healing. Not from one person, but from at least 10 people. And I'm expecting as we go back through that there will be some measurable shifts for some of you. And maybe we get lucky and there'll be a measurable shift for all of you. Remember that no different than continuing to pour water into the dirty vessel, the amount of water matters. The amount of frequency and vibration matters. Most everybody here that is familiar with this form of healing had to receive healing more than once to resolve a major issue in their life. But then it was permanently resolved where nothing else had worked until that point. So do know that if you didn't get the desired results today, doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means you need more of that same healing frequency and vibration. So let's check in for those who had received. I believe, Anita, are you one of them that received?
Yes, I did receive, and I feel a huge difference. I think I said 8 or 9, and now probably like 4 or 5. And it feels like a big weight came up my shoulders. I'm
It
gonna
looks
keep
like it
working on
too.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I see Marlis shows up on my screen. Marlis, how are you doing now?
Well, I can't feel a shift yet, but too much is going on. But I know it, you know, the black cup of coffee, 1 drop of milk, and you have to do a lot of milk to get it healed. So I know I have many issues, several levels. So I know it takes more time, but every healing is welcome. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and then I have a message for you, Marlis, which is I'm hearing that it's mostly message center blockages. So continue to work with that as the root, and it should make a difference for you. Okay.
For the message center.
I'm
You
sorry.
mean
What?
the message center you said.
Yeah, I'm hearing that's really what the root is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Omar, how are you doing?
I feel better. When it comes to my hearing, I think that some vibrations I was able to like just hear them directly. So I'm 100% sure that I'm gonna recover because I was worried mentally of like, oh, am I gonna get my hearing back? Like, is it gonna be back to normal? And I think it might be better. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. And is this your first experience, or are you familiar with Tao healing?
I was here last week and I somehow was introduced to the calligraphy.
Okay.
And I definitely feel like it's very freeing. Even as I'm doing it, I feel like I'm doing Reiki to myself.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, Kim, let's check in with Kim.
Yeah, I think it's shifted. I think just by 1.
Okay.
So it's still around, 7, 8 like this.
Still pretty intense, yeah. You got a
Yeah.
lot going on there.
Yeah.
Now, Kim, I'm pretty sure I recognize your name. You're familiar with this form of healing?
I beg your pardon?
This is not a new form of healing to you, is that correct?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to be aware, this weekend, Master Shah is offering a very special set of blessings. So if you're not familiar with that, make sure you check in with one of the local healers, and we can give you more information on that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Who else? Jen, did you notice any additional shift, Jen?
Yeah. I mean, mine was completely calm, but I was also doing blessings as well. So but yeah, I feel great now. Amazing.
Very good. Okay. Thank you, Leilani, for letting us know. And Eddie, your eyesight, 5 or 6 blurriness, any noticeable shift?
It's very hard to tell because I'm in my car. It's dark in here, but yeah, I feel the buzz in my head. So there's something happened. So something shifted. So I will message you later to confirm what has changed. But I know that my liver is compromised, so that's the root
Yeah.
of this. It's the liver. So I actually got blood work done, and they say I have a fatty liver. So that's the root
Interesting.
cause of this. So, but yeah, I wanted to receive something to see because this is a wonderful group. All these people who are doing the Tao light hands together, the frequency really is high, right? Because the more people that do it, the amplitude, like Master shot, the amplitude is very, very high. So I'm sure there's going to be a shift. So I'm very positive and trust this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kim, I had a question for you. You're the one that's telling it was the right side of the body that had the imbalance. Is that correct, Kim?
Wait a minute. It's actually on the left arm.
The left arm.
It's the left arm, yeah.
Okay. All right. Have you had direct healing for it before?
I beg your pardon?
Have you had direct healing for it before?
No. This is the first time I've had this pain on my left arm.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you in a few minutes. I'll do a special blessing for you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Emmy, I believe you had something going on for you. You muted yourself again, Emmy? Okay, so if you do wish to speak, Emmy, go ahead and unmute yourself. And Marilu, I believe you had an experience?
I did, thank you. I had a feeling of, I guess it's a feeling of lightness, feeling lighter, coupled with joy and hope. In terms of the physical symptoms I was feeling, stress was one part of it, and the physical symptoms of that were my digestive system, especially my stomach, and I think that's down to about a 4 from starting at 8 when we first started this call, and then down to a 6, and now to a 4. So thank you very much. I feel much better.
Very good. Thank you very much. And you're familiar with this form of healing, Marilu? Or you new at it, or?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Very good. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
Can I speak now?
Please go ahead.
I feel a little bit calm, but it's not how it must be.
Okay. Tell me more.
I feel that the blockage in my, I don't know if it's just my chakras, but in my belly, it don't feel good. It feels not good.
Okay. Now, Emmy, remind me, your discomfort was whole body?
Yes.
Okay. And this has kind of been an ongoing thing for you? Or how long?
This is very long.
Okay. Okay. And Emmy, have you received any higher level healing for this discomfort?
I do from the last one. What I do is Tao lightning, Tao thunder lightning field.
Okay.
And that I do every day. I do that, and I have other practice mantra what I chant to from Mother Kuan Yin. You know, I speak and I feel right in my belly. I feel in the left side. I feel so one strange pain.
Okay. So clearly you need to do some more practices, but I'm glad to hear that you're noticing sensations as you practice. That's a very good sign. It means the chi is moving. Okay, so continue to practice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to finish in about 10 minutes. I'm going to offer a blessing to Kim for her left shoulder. Is that correct, Kim?
It's the upper left arm.
Upper left arm.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to do what's called a Tao light operation, also referred to as a soul operation. And it takes about a minute or two. And what's your pain level, Kim, right now?
Around 7, 8.
Okay. And it's been this way for how many days?
3 weeks.
And are you able to lift your arm?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So you have full rotation, but the pain's there. Is that about correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you can lift your arm, but the pain is pretty much the same regardless of moving it?
That's correct. Yes, the pain remains. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to offer this soul operation. Prepare to receive.
Thank you. Thank you.
If anybody has third eye image, they're welcome to make note and share. Tian Mai Tian, crystal light ball soul operation soul, please turn on. Please offer soul operation as appropriate for the left arm, upper left arm for Kim McNeely, and releasing the negative information, whatever the root, whatever the cause, as appropriate. Start. So this is a transmission that I received roughly 15 years ago. And this transmission is truly extraordinary. As I mentioned earlier, there's 4 examples. So you have something to gauge it against. You have Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, and each one represents a higher frequency or vibration. So a soul operation is a very high frequency and vibration, and it is most often used for things that are stuck, like what Kim may be experiencing now. And one of the reasons I chose to do this today is because there may be 1 or 2 more new people who are kind of watching in the background and going, well, you know, I'm not so sure. You know, I'm actually in Oklahoma right now. I have no clue where Kim is at. I can't say I've ever physically met her, not that I'm aware of. I recognize the name. But I have no connection necessarily to Kim. So honestly, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Having done this 15 years, it's not my job. I'm not doing the work anyway. It's the source. Source decides the level of efficacy. Source decides everything. I'm just a middleman doing what I've been asked to do. We'll check in with Kim in a minute and see if there's any results. And one thing to keep in mind is, let's say her pain goes from a 7 down to a 4. I'm just going to make up a number here. That would be a 50% result in roughly 2 minutes. Now, in my world, that does not happen very often in anything else I've seen out there. So the reason I am doing this is for those that are relatively new, so that they know what is available to them, so that they start to grasp the nature, power, and significance of Tao healing. Okay? Okay, I'm finishing this healing now. And Kim, share any sensations you might have had, anything you might have felt, and if there's any difference. Kim, you are unmuted, but I can't hear you if you're talking.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, just stand up. Yeah, there is some shift, Paul.
Okay. And what are you
That's,
noticing?
there is some shift, yeah.
And can you describe that shift?
Maybe around 5, I think.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Thank you so much, Paul.
You're very welcome. So one of the things, as we wrap this up, is that, oh, and Terry's probably going to share some third eye images. Let me make this statement, Terry. This is healing that is not to her physical body. This is not to her energy body. This is not to her mental body. This is not to her heart. This is to her vibration and the imbalances at the level of soul. We don't know what the originating point where this entered her vibration, got stuck in her arm and creates suffering. I mean, there's ways to figure that out, but I don't know. So I just asked heaven to make a translation. And so the clearing was not on her arm level. It was at the soul level. So there's a process where the heart receives a different message from the previous one creating the suffering. And then the mind receives a different message, and the energy starts to adjust, and the matter starts to adjust. So in 2 minutes, we've had a matter representation of roughly 25% shift. And if we check in with her in 5 minutes from now, before I finally close, it could potentially go down more because the matter is adjusting to the shift that occurred upstairs. That's what I wanted to say. Terry. Terry, you can share now if you'd like.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, what I saw was I was expecting more on the physical level in the arm area, and that's my mind. And what I saw was like a really large, much larger than any sword that I've ever seen, but it was golden light, and it went down through about the middle of her, the back of her body as I was seeing that, and it went. And it was doing just a lot of clearing work from essentially the lower back uh, as I was looking or seeing her. Uh, and what I saw, or when I asked about it, was when you were mentioning, percentages or something. It's like there's like a 40% change increase in light in that whole lower back of her body, as I see it, area.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing, Terry. And Jennifer, you posted something in chat. Do you want to share what you saw in your third eye?
Yeah, so when everything started, I really saw the area of the shoulder that had just completely opened up, and the energy, negative information just was like flying out. I mean, massive amounts of it, tons of it came out, and then I saw heaven's light just pouring in and filling in all those gaps and areas, and sealing them with golden light. And then there was probably at least, I'm hearing like 50 or 60 doves surrounding her whole body to hold that energy and frequency and give her a sense of peace and relief. And that's what I saw.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that sharing, Jennifer. Okay, so, to kind of wrap everything up, Tao healing is a form of healing that assists transferring very high level positive healing frequency and vibration to you through a variety of mediums. Those mediums can be the art, like you see behind me. It can be through a medium of a transmission of power, like Tao hands. There's people who've received transmission powers for using their voice to offer healing. There is what's called Tao water, where the individual who is the conduit through which all this healing came to humanity, his name is Master Sha. He takes no credit. He teaches us to take no credit. He explains the source creates you, creates me, creates everything. And that since the age of 5, he's been training not only to be a doctor and a medical doctor and a Western doctor, but he's also been training with very high level Qigong masters, Tai Chi masters, Feng Shui masters, I Ching masters, Kung Fu masters, calligraphy masters. So he's trained with the best masters on the planet, especially in the energy arts. And he's meditated his whole life, so he has a very high connection to source. And those types of individuals can be a very wide conduit through which massive healing frequencies can come. So when he transmits authorities such as Tao hands or healing authorities with song or whatever, this has been going on for many, many years. So there is more available if this resonates with you, and there's clearly more and higher healing available if that's what you need. The purpose of today is to introduce this to you, and we chose the subject matter of stress because that's what the vast majority of people deal with, and this works quite well for that. You can put on some music and trace a calligraphy for 15 minutes, and you can feel a lot better relatively fast. And those are available to you all day long, free. So there's different layers of available healing to you. I encourage you to go to the website And we'll have the team posted in the chat one more time so you can access it. We have multiple healers in the area that are here to serve you. And we're going to be here next week. We have another teacher named Henderson. He was here last week, and he'll be here again next week. And we'll have other presenters. And each of them, in essence, be sharing in their own words very similar things. Bring more friends, bring people that have difficulties in their life, because we are here to help you. So it's been a great honor. I want to check one more time with Kim to see if her discomfort has shifted, if it's still at the 5 level, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off. Kim?
I think it's still the same, Paul.
Okay, very good. So just know that there are other avenues available for bringing healing to that, and it could be feeling much better in the morning as well. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the Pacific Northwest team, all those that helped us come together, the tech team, Sharon and Holly, and all of you that came. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to offer this wisdom, this service, this healing, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great morning or evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for
Thank you,
caring
Paul,
and
for
Thank
all
knowing
you.
you. Wonderful
Thank you.
session.
Thank you
you,
for
Thank
all
Paul.
you
And
Love
love.
you.
Thank you.
thank you,
you.
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Aloha.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.